just go ahead and talk about some of the ways we can make training a little bit easier. Good morning. I started at 5:30 this morning. I love it when it's still dark and I'm starting to train. I hope your strength is improving and your muscles are not as sore as they were, that you are going a little bit further, and that you may even have started carrying a little bit of weight in your book bag, day pack, backpack, whatever it is you've got. I finally moved up to 8 miles. Yay me! And I also increased my pack weight, so now I'm carrying 18.5 pounds. Let me tell you, adding 6 more pounds to my pack weight, whew, my knees can feel it. That's why I said it's really important for you all to train before you start hiking, especially if you're going to do a through hike. Fortunately, I have several months left before I'm leaving, and I hope I'll be able to get up where I need to be. Let's just go ahead and talk about some of the ways we can make training a little bit easier. I'll tell you what I do. You see these? I listen to audiobooks and I listen to music. And it's easy for me to kind of keep the tempo up of my pace when I'm listening to some music that's really jamming. So maybe that will help you. Going with a friend will also help. So I told you that I increased my pack weight and I got up to 8 miles. But let me tell you what happened. My pace is up to 17 minutes a mile. Now let me tell you what that really means. I'm hiking on tiny little hills. They're about 400 feet tall. So here's what that means. There are going to be some days where your ascent is going to be 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 feet. When I went on the AT in 2023, I had trained for 11 months. And I could actually do a 15-minute mile with a loaded backpack and doing 12 miles. I got up to 12 miles before. My goal this time is 10. If I get up to 12, that's great. When I got on the trail, my hiking speed went to 30 minutes a mile. That's because you are hiking over roots, rocks, streams, little planks on bridges, and going up hills and going up rocks, boulders. Slows you down. So whatever pace you get to, double it. And that's what you should anticipate for when you first begin hiking on the AT. You'll probably get faster, but to start off with, that's what you probably need to anticipate. Don't do too much too fast. Here's why. You're going to end up getting shin splints. And oh people, you will not be happy. They hurt. I have not had shin splints because I trained properly. But I was around a lot of people that did, and also had just stress fractures. So, and it's because they either didn't train properly or they were doing too many miles a day on their hike and doing those consistently. What you need to anticipate in the beginning is having the ability to hike about 8 miles a day. Now that's if you're training for the AT. And here's what I mean. The shelters are about 8 miles apart if you're planning on staying in a shelter. If you're planning on staying in a tent, that's a different matter. There are going to be times when the weather is going to kind of say, maybe you need to stay in a shelter. I would not recommend hiking more than 8 miles a day in the beginning for at least a week, 10 days, possibly 2 weeks, so you can try and get your trail legs. What do I mean by trail legs? Trail legs is where you can hike successfully and not be so fatigued or worn out at the end of the day, and you can go further and stronger. You may feel that you can go further But if you're just starting off and it's your first hike, you probably need to stick to 8 miles. Even if you feel like you can go further, don't, because your legs aren't used to it yet. Your head's used to it. Your cardiovascular system may be used to it, but your legs are not used to it. It is a glorious 62 degrees today. I love it when the weather is cooler. It makes all the difference in the world when you're training and hiking to have cooler weather. I want to share a little mental trick I did with myself on trail, and I've shared it with numerous hikers, and they said it helped them a lot. That's why I'm here. I want to try and encourage you. When you are hiking, when you are going up a mountain and you look at it and you go, I'm done. I just can't do any more today. I am wiped out. And you still have 3 more miles to go. And it's just up, up, up. One of the things that's going to happen to you, I'll never forget the first time this happened to me. I was like, what? I hiked up. I thought I was going to be at the top of the mountain. It was a false summit. I had to keep going up. That happened 4 times in a row. I was like, is this mountain ever going to end? I think I climbed close to 3,000 feet ascent that day. It just lasted forever. But here's what I started doing. One day I was hiking and I had planned a 15-mile day. Well, it just didn't work out, and I ended up hiking a 17.5-mile day. There was nowhere to stop in that 2.5-mile section. There was a steep fall off on one side and a mountain on the other side, and then the trail. There was nowhere to stop. I didn't think I had a 17.5-mile day in me. That 2.5 miles, and it was all uphill, every single step of it. I looked at that and I went, okay, well, I'm going to walk 10 steps. I walked 10. Then I walked another 10 till I was out of breath, caught my breath, walked another 10. I finally worked my way up to about 50, and by that time I had gotten to where I needed to be. But I used that strategy up to 100 steps as I was going along the way on the rest of my hike, and found that in my mind that really helped me go, okay, well, I only need to go 10 steps, then I'll take a deep breath. 10 steps, then I'll take a deep breath. 100 steps, and then I'll take a deep breath. It really made a difference. So if that's something that will help you, even when you're training on flat ground, or you live in Florida, or you live in New York City and you're on pavement, you know, if you have said, I'm going to walk 6 miles today, you've gotten a 3.5, and your body says, I don't want to do anymore, start counting steps. It makes a difference. You just have to have a positive attitude. You know, nobody's making you go hike. This is a privilege. And it's a challenge. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hard. There are going to be days where you just want to say bad words. There are going to be days when you just don't want to get out of bed. And there are going to be other days that are going to be so glorious and so awesome and so memorable. They're just going to be the most wonderful, wonderful days. Your attitude plays a big part in that. Do I always have a good attitude? No, I do not, but I try. You know why? Because I feel like I'm witnessing to others, and that they can see joy and peace. I want them to see joy and peace in me. And if I'm all gripey and uptight and complaining about something, nobody's going to see the beauty in hiking, because it's hard. I once did a video on this little pond about faith and how a little bit of faith can spread out, and affect other people, and I want to do a little bit different take on this today. I'm going to throw a rock in here, and I want you to look at the reverberation of that rock and how far out it goes. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and goes further and further and further. That's how your training is. When you start, it's small, but as you work up your cardiovascular system and your strength with your muscles, you get stronger and stronger and stronger and can do more and more and more. Here's another thing I learned. I'm short. I'm 5'3". And when you have people that are 5'10" to 6'5" wanting you to hike with them, you quickly realize that you're doing double time with your steps. Literally 2 steps for every one of theirs, because their legs go up to your armpits. I didn't do that too often. It made me feel bad about myself. And I thought, why should I feel bad about myself? I'm doing the best I can. I'm older, I'm slower, I get there, who cares? That's what your attitude needs to be. You want to shuffle at double time and keep up with your platoon sergeant? Well, then there you go. That was not my mission. I'd love for y'all to consider commenting and sending me your thoughts on topics that you would like me to talk about. I have a list, but you've probably got something that hasn't even occurred to me. I think that would be awesome if you would share. I would love to hear from you. I realize I have not yet talked about backpacks. That is coming up in the next 1 or 2 videos. I'm still working on that one. It's a little more detailed, and I want to make sure that I'm saying just the right thing to help you along the way. Toward the end of this video, I am going to do an update on that big blister that was on my toe and me draining it, so you can see how it's been healing. I will tell you that I had drained it a second time, which is not unusual, and just make sure that I kept it clean and that the skin is left intact. Do not take the skin off of that blister. You're going to end up having problems. Blisters, if you can leave them without popping them, that is best, because that's nature's band-aid. However, with the one that I had on my toe, that just couldn't stay. So the next best thing is making sure that you leave the skin intact and clean and bandage it before you get ready to start hiking. I did a double take. I passed this and then I came back to look at it. Somebody put that right here in the hedges. Okay, it's been several days since I drained that blister, and I wanted to do a follow-up so you could see how it was healing. That is looking pretty good. It's turned into a scab. It's not infected, and like I said earlier, I did have to drain it a second time. I kept it wrapped, and it's doing really well. There is no tenderness to it at all. This is a little red right now because I've just taken the band-aid off, but it is looking really, really good. I'm going to close for now. I'm going to stop and do this properly. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this training journey, getting ready to go. I hope y'all have a great day. Take good care, and I'll see you in my next video.